sometimes I take J's if I'm extra thirsty, so I was like, I'll just leave it here. I'll put it away if I don't drink it. I know, it was one of those, well, it'll be fine.
It's the perks of being a president.
Right?
You get an extra bottle of water.
Sure.
Extra bonus.
You're all the way over here tonight. You're the lone one at that table.
Want me to go over there and sit by you?
Your supervision on each side.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 7:04. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a reminder that the meeting is being recorded. Review and approval of minutes.
I move to approve.
You're good.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Review and approval of claims.
Make a motion to approve.
Have to sit still, though. Y'all not.
Well, a second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Voided checks.
I have a lot of checks. Black Mountain was working on my computer, and because at first you won't print it out, and then you work on it, and then I like print a sample check, right? But then it printed front and back after that, and I cannot cancel it. I just let it go because it's front and back.
Yep.
And start a little break-in. So checks number 75461 to 75507.
75461 to 75507.
Yes, please.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Now open it up for public comment.
As a public comment, I'd like to thank Elliot and Kyle for putting up the donations, the little plaque that Tom Brett wanted up. I mean, because it means a lot to Tom to recognize the people that did it. And so they can walk in and they can see it. And so I'd like to thank, Tom / I would like to thank Kyle, Fix, and Elliot for putting it up. Because it does mean a lot. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, I'll close the floor. We'll now open up for reports.
All right, my schedule's going to start with almost school year here pretty soon. I am looking to take one more vacation I have listed on there. I was going to do that a couple of weeks ago. I was unable to make that happen, so I pushed it back. So hopefully coming up here, I'll get one additional day off before we get going on the year. So you've got that listed there. Any questions on what I've got scheduled over the next month? Moving on to our public hearing for fiscal year 2025-2026 budget. You have a copy of that in front of you. Green is the new budget, pink is the old budget, if you'd like to compare. We've got the high school budget as well as the elementary budget here. If you look all the way down on the bottom, you'll notice that the mills have gone up by roughly 15 for the elementary, and the mills for the high school go up by roughly 4.5 mills. Mud, are there other things that you wanted to touch on in regards to the budget?
Just, we increased tuition fees, I mean, the tuition fund, I mean, because, we lost how many from Title I?
Yeah, so there were some changes at the federal level as far as title funding for school districts. Our school district lost about $70,000 in Title I funding. So we're trying to recoup that through our tuition fund, which will allow us to fund some of those paraprofessional needs that we have.
And also, we're gonna use the tuition fund to pay for, our kids that are going to school, like, for example, in Sandhurst.
Out of district students. So there's that new law that has school districts paying other districts when their students leave that school. Those dollars are not meant to increase that school's budget. It's meant to offset taxpayer dollars. So we're also receiving dollars from districts for those students that are coming to our district, but we also have to pay out for those that are leaving our district.
So for the 24-25 school year, we did paying $33,883 to 4 different schools, and then we'll be taking in $32,200.
And those are receivable, we got to pay those like half by December and half by May or something?
Is it November and?
First payment is in November, and then around March.
Okay. You both pay and receive around then. So then, do the dollars, basically the receipts offset mills? Or we just?
You know, this is our first time we're going through the process. I don't know how it's going to filter out. My understanding is it's supposed to offset taxpayer receivables, but I am not fluent in this yet. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up working out.
Because you're paying and receiving them in arrears from the previous school year.
Yeah.
It'll be messy, but as near as my research shows, a lot of districts the size of ours will just net out. You have about the same number of kids attending next door as are coming, they're just paying for it.
Yeah.
The little schools are gonna go broke, and big schools are gonna be able to get rid of the little island districts that are in the middle of them, which is,
Maybe what the goal was.
yeah, I think the goal was, well,
I don't know. Yeah.
Nobody knows.
yeah, it's
Or
complicated.
maybe it wasn't. I don't know. That seems to be what the impact could end up being.
Yep.
Questions or comments in regards to the budget?
So like Elliot said, the teacher's salary will increase how much?
Teacher salaries for next year increased by roughly $220,000. That does include 2 additional teachers that we did not have this past year. So we went from 48 teachers to 50 teachers this coming year.
So that's Spanish
It's Spanish and title/special ed.
Okay, got it. That's what I
slash.
thought, okay.
There's some internal movement that occurred that created the additional opening.
What's let's say a 5-year average of mills assessed roughly in both schools?
It's,
ballpark?
this year it's the highest, so it's usually like 6 to increase.
Okay.
Again, the reason why we're upping it a little bit more on that tuition fund is to offset those dollars that we're losing through federal funding.
Mhm. Have the mill values increased much in this district recent years?
I can get that information for you. I don't have it off the top of my head, and let you,
It
you know
seems
where
like
we've been over the past
it's
10 years.
increased a little bit, the value of it, but then see our taxable value this year went down. Oh, lots of districts taxable
Oh, I see.
value.
Interesting.
increased, yeah.
I move to adopt.
Not yet.
Oh, not
Sorry,
yet.
once more?
I didn't see.
Oh, Sarah, did you have a question?
She's gonna make a motion. Can I make a motion?
No, sorry, this is the hearing.
Oh.
I'll get to the recommendation once we get to action items,
Oh,
which is next. Right now, we've got the public hearing, so questions, comments, public
Okay.
comment or question, anything. This is
Gotcha.
open for the budget for the coming year. Doesn't look like there is anything else on the public hearing for the budget. Not a lot of public to make comment on that, so I'm going to recommend that we move on to action items, if that's okay with you, Angela? Okay, we're going to move on to action items. We're on to the adoption of the 2025-2026 budget. I recommend adopting the 2025-2026 budget for Shelby Elementary School.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I also recommend adopting the 25-26 budget for the high school district. Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to retirements. We got one retirement letter. First off, I want to thank John for all the service that he's provided and going to continue to provide throughout this school year. I also want to thank him for getting us this information so early to help us prepare. And he's also hopefully working hard with an employee we have that maybe we hope will be able to take over. Certainly not as much knowledge as John has developed over the years, but hopefully some skills that can be developed over time and meet the needs that we have within the district. So I guess I'd like to thank John for all of his years of service, but I'll be doing that again when we get to the end of the year. At this point, I'd just like to recommend that the board accept John Howe's letter of retirement at the end of the 25-26 school year.
What if we don't?
That's come up a number of times, and I think the person can just walk away.
I already told them folks no.
So,
So I can't make a motion, so I'm gonna vote no.
So moved.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign.
No.
You got to retire.
Motion carries.
okay, moving on to hiring. Are we okay if I lump some of these together as far as job positions, and then I'll lump high school coaches and then junior high coaches together, and then volunteers as individuals? Okay, I'm going to recommend cafeteria, hiring Tennille McAllister at $15.70 an hour, janitor Alvison McKelvey at $16.44 an hour. This is the provisional salary. That salary will change after the provisional time has ended. And recommend hiring paraprofessional Heather Almels and Bailey Postma at $15.70 an hour.
I move.
Second.
I have a first from Eric and a second from Roy. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We have 3 high school positions. I recommend hiring high school cheer advisor Ashley Deno at $4,000, high school head football coach Dean Laram at $4,800, and high school assistant football coach Ron Buck at $3,600.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Junior high, I recommend hiring assistant football coaches Tyler White, Cade Leck, and Colton Lampert at $2,400.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion?
Sometimes it's basic.
Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Recommend hiring junior high volunteer football coach Jordan Weisar.
So moved. Second.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And I recommend hiring high school volunteer football coach Daniel McDonough.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Roy. Any discussion?
I just like the move that the football, the direction the football program is going. You know, what they went through this summer and the different things. I would like to commend their assistant coaches for going throughout the summer with it, continuing. And then I think Dean Laram's an excellent hire. I just like the energy and the direction that's continued to go. And, you know, because Mark Blevins, Mark Clark, Brock Stores, they spent extra time this summer, not even knowing if they'd have a job. And they worked hard on it. And I commend those three, plus Dean and everything else. And I love the extra coach at this time. It's well needed.
Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to the GTCC commitment. GTCC is the Golden Triangle Curriculum Cooperative. This is our agreement that we have with them. They are the consortium that provides our curriculum. We go through that. We evaluate the curriculum every 5 years, all of our subject areas. And it's housed here in Shelby. It started here in Shelby. And we've been very involved in that program over the years. Cost of the membership is $10,354.75. My recommendation is that we continue our enrollment with the GTCC.
So moved.
I have a first from Chad and a second from Sarah. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Fire system update. I know I've shared with you the walkthroughs that I've done with two companies. I'm still waiting to do a walkthrough with the company that services our system at this point. I don't know that they're very interested, or I called them earlier this week, yesterday, and I still haven't heard back from them as far as the time. I also do not have full bids from any of the companies yet, but they did tell me that it was going to take time to get all of those bids put together. I do hope to have it here in the next month, and I wanted to make sure that it was on the agenda so that we continue to have this conversation. It is going to be a big ticket item, and it's something that we do need to address. Any questions on our process or how we're going through that at this point?
It looks good. I mean, the updates are good. They're appreciated. And
We don't know if they look good yet. They might
Well, I
be
mean,
expensive.
but it's
They
just
look like to me.
Yeah, but it's truthful. This is what it is. Can you give them a deadline? We can
So-
get them one way or the other?
Yeah, so which, the company that services it or both of these? So I intend to talk with both of these companies after this week, just to see where we're at.
'Cause I know you're.
They know my goal is to make a recommendation in September.
Okay, good.
But I don't want to get it the day before the board meeting in
No.
September. I'd like to have some opportunity to review it, look to it, analyze what they propose.
You shouldn't have to beg somebody, so I'd say you got two companies that will actually get numbers in front of you. If you have to beg them to come look, if you have to beg them to make a proposal, you'll probably have to beg them to come do the work after they agree to do it. So,
It's quite possible, but I just know that I've been in situations where sometimes I do need to beg to get people to come up to do work that we need to get done.
I hear you.
It's just, it's part of the market right now, and, you know, some of our projects may be a little bit smaller than some of the other projects in some of the larger towns here in Montana. So sometimes, trying to build those relationships and a little bit of begging or whatnot can get them up here to try and get us those bids. So,
Do we have to publish that in the paper, only with this?
it's something that we can discuss.
have we talked to neighboring schools as far as, have you got 5 stars on any of these people, these companies? Or?
Kind of. So one of them does our security system right now.
Okay.
One of them installed the original system in the building. Well, updated it when we did the new elementary school. And then we have our new company that's servicing. So they have a little bit of information, and then Summers just had this done by the company that currently services ours last summer.
Okay. Well,
But that, I know that's not a lot of gold stars or anything, but there are companies that have existed for a long time and have been doing this.
Well, beg on.
Will do. Okay, any other questions on the fire system? Okay, moving on to soft drink contracts. I have had a lot of conversation, and it seems like every single time I have a conversation, both companies really want our business, and they say, well, we'll also do this. Well, we'll also do this. I think there's a lot of similarity. I don't want to put this out there in the public exactly where each of them are at. I created a little spreadsheet for you to show you where both companies are at right now. You know, we've been with Coke for 10 years. They've been a pretty good partner. We've run into a couple of little hiccups here and there, but for the most part, they've been good, even bringing product in when we've run out at times. So I do feel like that is a benefit that I have appreciated over the years. We made the move from Pepsi to Coke 10 years ago because Pepsi was refusing to do some things that we were asking them to do, and they were just disregarding what we have. And so that's the reason we made the move 10 years ago. We have not experienced that with Coke. With that said, the proposals are very similar right now, with the exception of product cost. Pepsi seems to have a much lower product cost, and although I haven't shared any of the information between the two companies, I did share with Coke, you're going to have to figure out a way to make your product cost come down for me to move in this direction. And I know there's some additional guarantees that Coke has that Pepsi doesn't include. Our yearly payments are based on sales for Pepsi, whereas with Coke, it's a guaranteed payment. At the same time, you're almost charging 50 cents to 75 cents more for any Coke product for every person that walks through our door, just to make the same dollar amount. Nobody drinks Pepsi. And if nobody drinks Pepsi, well, then that's an issue, because then we won't make any money anyhow. But that's,
Then
so,
we'll drink water.
I understand that there's
We'll
an
make more
argument
money.
between Coke is better, Pepsi's better, who wants what, like, I get it, okay? So that's another part of the argument, and if we decide we're a Coke community, then that's what we'll do. If we want to be a Pepsi community, we can do that. But my goal is to try and get the best deal for the school district, and I don't care if it's Coke or Pepsi. Like, the brand doesn't matter. The service and the cost are what are gonna matter to me. When I met with Pepsi, it was not the same employees that we had issues with 10 years ago. I would say that they are a little bit more local. All of our Coke stuff is gonna come out of Great Falls. Pepsi does have some service representatives up here in our area. I think 2 of the drivers are actually from here in Shelby, and our salesperson would be out of Cut Bank. So that local aspect, that is another nice aspect, although we have not had issues getting a hold of Coke, to my knowledge. So, with that said, I think the board has a couple of options here. One, you can tell me, all right, we're gonna go with one of these two, and you're gonna go sign the contract. Or you could give me the authority to continue to have this conversation and then make the decision in the best interest of the district financially. Because I think the service is going to, I think either company that gets the contract is going to work hard to provide quality service. So I think those are your 2 options on how we can proceed with this. I think there's going to be things that change on these lists if I have the opportunity to continue to have those conversations. And we don't have the ability to wait until September to sign the contract. We have tournaments starting up at the end of August.
I think if you've had the conversations and you've got the relationships, I think it's better for you just to finalize it.
Right?
I agree with them. And then what's interesting though is Pepsi, where product donation, to me, there's kind of a big difference.
Between these 2?
Yeah, because all of a sudden you got, so $190 per tournament, estimated 60 rows per year, 10 cases, 5 cases, canned water. And I like the soda better, but they also have $200 a year for Pop Shot. Because we used to get the Pop Shot free, but now we have to pay for it. I think we have to pay for it now, right? Because I know one time it was always free.
So, I put Pop Shot, that's an example of what it can, so these are $200 in-kind donations that we could spend towards Pop Shot. It's soda that we're going to get that we can use for whatever we want, in addition to this tournament. A lot of people like the fountain soda. They like going in there and getting the fountain soda. That is not what Pepsi does. That is a Coke, that is only going to be available through Coke, and I know that's a big seller for a hospitality room. If it's through Pepsi, it's going to be cans of soda in ice and water donation.
And keep the kids out.
So, I know that's a difference, and I know, but I don't think that's a make or break.
No, I think it's a nice little thing. I mean, for that
Again, I think my biggest thing is when I look at these,
price.
I mean, 55 cent difference for 20-ounce soda, or a 75 cent difference for a bottle of water. Granted, the bottle of water is larger, it's a 20-ounce versus a 16.9, but it's still
It's not that limited.
I mean, I like the idea of having a service when somebody, I struggle when people go to the concession stand and have to spend $3 for a bottle of water. If we can buy it for 50 cents, maybe we still have to sell it for 2. I don't know, we'll have to have this conversation, but you could almost sell it for $1 for water, which Maybe it's just me, but I feel like that's a reasonable thing to do. Maybe $1.50, whatever, I don't know. Okay,
Can't give-
I'm not gonna tell you what we're gonna sell our water for, but
Not
there's
to-
more margin for profit at that price. I always feel awkward when we're asking $3 for a bottle of water.
My experience with the concession end of it, as far as the water is concerned, anytime an outside group comes in, we've been heavily advised to not use Coke because we can't make enough on the water. And so we've been told to go get our own water and sell it. And so that in itself, if we can't be a proponent of a company that's offering these services, it just feels like they're not doing us any favors.
Can you take these numbers to Coke and say this is what we're being offered on the other side, we're gonna do this on that end?
I can. I'm not trying to undercut anybody in this situation. At the end of the day, I can say, all right, well, here's the offer. I've gotta have you, you've gotta meet this or come somewhere close if we're gonna continue to go with you. If the decision is to go with Pepsi. If the decision is to go with Coke, then this is not a conversation I'm having because they're already our provider. We don't have to worry about the transition. The other piece of the conversation that I'll need to have with Pepsi is, okay, let's say I sign this contract. How quickly are you in here, getting all of the machines going, getting all the product here, getting everything ready to go for our tournament that occurs in 2 weeks? We can have,
So you gotta make this decision real quick.
yeah. I've gotta make this decision this week.
Good luck.
So, what I would ask the board for, my recommendation is to allow the superintendent to continue to work with both companies and sign a contract that's in the best interest of Shelby Public Schools for the next 5 years. This is a 5-year contract.
You come out wearing a Pepsi shirt, does that make a difference?
If I come wear a Pepsi shirt.
I think we want a fountain soda in the boardroom.
I
Well,
will
then
take
you
cans,
want me
thank
to
you.
go Coke, because the fountain sodas only come with Coke.
I will
Fountain
take
sodas do
cans.
not come with Pepsi, that's not an option.
Do you want action on that?
I would like action, if I'm going to be making that decision,
I
on
move-
behalf of the school district.
So I move to deputize Mr. Crump to be clothed in immense
Everybody's kinda looking at you, Roy.
corn syrup power
Water, lots of water.
and water. We should be encouraging the kids to drink water, actually.
Chad, did you second?
75 cents.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Chad. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, I appreciate it, I will work hard with both of those companies to make sure we get the best benefit for our students. Okay, moving on to handbook approval. I did not print them off for you. I can go on to the handbooks on the screen if you'd like to see them. I sent them all to you. All of the green in the handbook is new. All of the red in the handbook with lines to it is being removed. For the staff handbook, it is only grammatical and the list of staff members at the beginning that has been changed. My recommendation is to approve the staff handbook.
So moved.
Second.
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion?
Did anybody else find the link not working? Or did I know? Never mind, I wasn't clicking it right. That's all my discussion.
Okay. All those in favor of motion by saying aye? Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the junior high school handbook. There's a few different changes. There's a couple of little grammatical things that needed to be altered. The biggest one is the drug testing policy. That has been updated. Removed all of the old language and input all of the new language so that illegal drugs, tobacco, alcohol, the consequences or the ramifications are the same for all of them. We ran into some issues 2 years ago when those two policies didn't line up. We made the change and we utilized it last year, but we never, it ended up not getting into the handbook. So it is in the handbook now, and so that's the major section that's all red with lines to it, and the new green section that's somewhere around page 54 or 56. So that's the biggest change. There's one other change in the graduation portion of that. Christian, you want to touch on what that change was?
Yeah, so in the regular graduation requirements, it says under business 2 credits or online. Ronnie and I have talked a lot. We think we need to get rid of the online portion. First, as a cost saving, it's like $275 a class. And the value of the classes, we feel, are better in our school in person rather than an online section.
And so what that means is it's not going to negatively impact a kid that started as a freshman last year. They can still take an online class and it will meet the requirements. So it's in parentheses in there, and it says online is no longer going to be listed here as of 2020, as of the class of 2029, right? The incoming freshman class. So it doesn't change the graduation requirements for the students when they came in. It will just change it for the new freshman class.
And that was business or online?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then there was some other little clarification pieces just on when when community service hours needed to be finished, just clarifying that information. It was already in there, but it was under valedictorian, salutatorian information, I think. And we added it into another location just to clarify it so that it was more clear for those people in that meeting. It doesn't change anything, just clarifies what the expectation is. I think those are the two major changes.
Because with what we ran into last year, I think it also kind of clarified if you are suspended, you can't go to any activities. It made it simpler to follow when I was reading it. Because if something happens to you and you get busted, no, you can't go to any of these activities. And they clarified it better.
Okay.
And I went through it.
So those are the changes within the junior high school handbook. My recommendation is to approve the new junior high school handbook.
I move to approve.
I have a first from Roy and a second from Sarah. Any more discussion?
Is the online change for the honors diploma also, or just graduation in general?
Just regular at this point.
So for honors, it's still.
All those in favor, motion by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to the elementary handbook. And there are changes in it, but most of them were time changes and there were little things, and then there was a whole section on discipline, correct?
Yeah, I just took the board policy and put it in the handbook for the discipline portion.
But there's kind of like little red spots all over and little
Yeah.
green spots all
There-
over in the
Yeah.
handbook.
So just, go back, it's been a while. One, asking parents, family members not to check out kids during performances, so it's not disrupting. A little note that we may not be able to provide all work in advance to students if they're gone for extended periods of time. It's difficult for teachers to plan exactly what they're doing because their plans may change based on student needs day to day. So just give the heads up for that. And then this one, main reason being safety for all of the kids, just making sure that, you know, the parent is there to talk and eat with their child, and just kind of protect everybody in the cafeteria during that time, and asking them not to be on their cell phones or taking pictures and things like that in the cafeteria as well, just considering all the other students there during that time.
Any questions on any of the changes in the elementary handbook?
And you guys go at 8:10 now or something?
Yeah, so that's across the board. So we're starting at 8:10 next year, and we're getting out at 3:40, Monday through Thursday. And then on Friday, we'll be getting out at 2:45 instead of 2:44, still with that 8:10 start. So starting 5 minutes earlier, going 2 minutes later on Monday through Thursday, and starting 5 minutes earlier on Friday, and going 1 minute later on Friday.
Are you gonna post that for shareable? I have heard it, the discussion of it, but it hasn't been put out there. And I think maybe we should start making people aware that it is a little bit earlier for those students that push the limit to the exact time. To
Yeah, so
remind them that they need to start.
We'll get some information out.
5
It is
minutes earlier.
posted on the website already, but we'll get some more information out on
Okay,
social
I
media.
think, yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. I like your little tweaks. It was interesting to read them.
Parent question on
Yep.
absences. I see 10 days, is that consecutive or cumulative in a trimester?
For what?
For, it just says you're on the naughty list if you miss 10 days.
And that's a policy as well, or policy.
So, yeah, I can speak on behalf of our building. The policy will be 10 days in a semester. And for every day after that, then I can't remember what it says.
It was 2%.
2% down.
Not, you cannot go into a failing grade.
Correct. To a 60%.
And for us, just really being that it's excessive, so we need to work on getting kids in the building.
Sure. I don't have any big plans, I just was curious.
Vacation.
Your kids do.
Yeah, my kids.
Without you.
Okay, my recommendation is to approve the elementary handbook.
So, second.
The first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
All right, moving on to the 2025 MTSBA annual meeting electronic ballot. And I will turn it over to Angela.
It was pretty straightforward, just talking about guidelines for school boards. I hope everybody had a chance to read through it. The foundational elements of MTSBA's organizational DNA. And then there's the fiscal year 27 dues revenue estimate, and then the 2 nominees. So what I would like to do is go through the ballot of how I need to answer them, if that's okay. Or if you guys have any questions, I can answer those best that I can. But I need input on how the district would like to respond to the ballot. So the first one would be to indicate whether our school district supports or opposes the MTSBA principles and guidelines as presented. We can approve, oppose, okay.
Approve.
Anyone else?
We'd like them to send us less policies to adopt.
So, if I may,
Yeah.
we did have this conversation at MREA. There's been a major change with the loss of Chris Goss at MTSBA. He used to be really focused on policy, give a lot of good advice and suggestions, and then also let us know what was recommended and what was required. And I thought that was a big indicator for me. If it's required, then I came to the board and said, hey, we can do whatever we want, but law requires us to do it like this, and if we don't do it like this, we're breaking the law. Recommended was, well, this is best practice, we can do this, but it gave us a lot more leeway to change it. The way that they're doing it now is, here's the changes that we're recommending, but there's no required versus recommended anymore. It's, here's the changes. And so you have to kind of make those decisions. And so there was a conversation at MREA when we were at the board meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, saying, hey, maybe our lawyer can also take a look at this and say, all right, here's an MTSBA recommendations. These are the ones that are actually required. And so getting some additional legal support. And I'd love to get it from MTSBA. I think they're understaffed. I think they're struggling with that as a result. And so maybe we can support them in that way. It's a Montana Rural Education Association, but I don't know. But it is a topic of conversation. So you bringing it up is accurate. It has been a major change over the past 2 or 3 years. I didn't used to have 3 policies every week for you guys to review,
Right.
and it's been like that for the past 2 years, 3 years now.
Yeah.
It is 3 policies to review, make changes to every week.
Your book must be getting kind of thick.
Well, so a lot of times it's,
Right.
I mean, it is thick, but a lot of times we're changing policies. We're not, occasionally we're adding new ones, but most of the time we're changing.
My experience over 10 years on elementary board is that I think these policy recommenders just keep themselves employed. I mean, there's only so many lawsuits a year that statewide that cause people to think, oh, we should tweak this a little. And when they used to have a big R on them, so you can say, oh, okay, all we need to do is fill in our own name, the law says. Whereas some of them you can spend some time or cost them.
So a lot of these policies that are changing are due to legislative changes. And the number of laws that are being heard and passed by the legislature have grown exponentially versus what they were like 10 years ago. And so I think that is also impacting what we're doing with our policy.
I think what the risk you run if you're flooded in policy review all the time is that everybody just goes to sleep and approves it. So then, A, you don't know what your policy book says, and B, you approved stuff that you may have been optional or amendable, and then something happens and you have to stick to your policy and it doesn't say what you wish it said. So, anyway, I didn't mean to sideline the conversation too much.
That's okay.
No, I agree. We're gonna get into it right here. I mean, we've got
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot of policies.
Yep.
15 policies that we're gonna be looking, some first reading and some second reading.
So that's my feedback on item 3.
Okay, perfect.
What
Okay.
if we oppose it?
We can oppose it. There is a,
Or abstain?
yeah, we can do either one of those.
They don't know why we're opposing though, like, this isn't probably the venue for the comment, but.
No.
Yeah, we can also submit a resolution.
Can I point something out? Up until 6 years ago, 7 years ago, we used to go to a conference down in Helena, put on by NTSBA. And their policy recommendations aren't just based on Montana case law. It's based on the regional court system. So there might be something that happens in Washington State or Idaho or something like that that they feel could impact us. And that's where they develop their policies. That was some really good information when they used to have that, even if it was during Cyber Monday.
Okay.
So,
Is everybody okay with approving the principles and guidelines? Okay. The school district supports or opposes the foundational elements of MTSBA's organizational DNA as presented. Approve, oppose, abstain. Okay.
I mean, it's well thought out. We don't know the whole thing.
Yeah. All
I'm
right.
not sure if there's anybody else with
Yeah.
policies.
Yeah, but it's, you know, yeah, no, just go EAIO.
The next one is school district support or opposes fiscal year 27 dues revenue estimate. School district supports or opposes the nomination of Rick Cummings, MTSBA Region 5 Director and Cascade Trustee as MTSBA President-elect.
I've had the opportunity to meet Rick, really knowledgeable guy. He's been a great board member for a long time down at Cascade. I think he does benefit the MTSBA organization.
Approved.
I've met him too, I agree. School district support or oppose the nomination of Jennifer Hoffman, MTSBA Municipal Director from Billings Public Schools as MTSBA Vice President.
Approve. There's no big man against.
Thank you. I will get this filled out and submitted.
Okay,
Over to you.
I'm going to move on to policy. I know we just discussed it. Do we want to? So, first off, you do have a new packet in front of you. If I could have you write your name on that packet, so I can bring it back to the next meeting.
That's the one that starts at 2335.
Yeah, the one that does not have your name on it already. We can go through these individually, or I can recommend them as a group, or if there's a specific policy that we would like to discuss, I can hold off on that one and we can discuss that. Does the board have a preference?
I'm good with all together.
Okay, I'm gonna make the recommendation with them all together. When it gets to discussion, if there is a specific policy that the board would like to discuss further, we can do that. Okay? My recommendation is to approve upon first reading, Board Policy 2335, Health Enhancement, Board Policy 3310, Student Discipline, Board Policy 5255, Disciplinary Action, Board Policy 2158, Parent and Family Engagement and Educational Involvement, Board Policy 3110, Entrance, Placement, and Transfer, Board Policy 3121, Enrollment and Attendance Records, Board Policy 3551, Student Drug Testing, Board Policy 2100, School Day and School Calendar and Day, Board Policy 2450, Indian Education for All, and Board Policy 2150, Suicide Awareness and Prevention. I got all those numbers and names correct.
And I don't see where we have the option on any of them. Is that correct?
I wouldn't say that we don't have any option. The drug testing policy is very much our design. We did spend a lot of time developing that. We did have it implemented last year. And I thought we had it approved, but I went back and I couldn't find it approved anywhere, and it was not changed in our policy manual. Granted, they had some transition at MTSBA. We had lots of things going on. I don't know if it was my fault, I don't know if it was their fault, I don't know how it happened, but it didn't get approved into our policy manual.
So this is the language we thought we did last year.
This is the language that we thought we did last year, and this is what we actually utilized last year. But it was not the way it was written in our policy.
And this is what's written in our handbook.
And this is what is written in our handbook now, yes.
Your question of suicide awareness prevention, are we bringing in guest speakers on?
Yeah, so we have Carl Roston coming in on August 26th to speak with our staff. That's suicide prevention. He's gonna be meeting with staff for about an hour. And then I've been talking with Mr. Fisher about some different opportunities and programs during the school year for our students. I'm not sure if we've approved any of them yet. Did we approve that play one?
We're working on it.
So we're still working on it, but there's a couple of different things that we have planned throughout the year. I know that Logan Health is also going to do their health fair and be talking about suicide prevention, and they're going to be doing it in the school rather than the civic center this coming year. So there's going to be another opportunity for our students to engage in those conversations.
Mental health curriculum.
And Ronnie got that mental health curriculum that would be in.
Now, when will she be teaching at what areas?
All through.
6-12
That's the plan.
during PE classes?
Yeah, because I think it's two different curriculums. I think there's one for junior high each kids and one for high school each kids.
Is there parent outreach aspects to any of this? The suicide awareness?
So parent outreach for the suicide awareness.
Is parent involvement for that testing that you guys just voted on?
So, I mean, we send out the letters to the parents for that testing that we do.
As far as, I mean, what do you do as a parent if you end up in the situation where your kid is having issues? I mean, is there anything that involves parents that?
So if somebody's going to contact us and say that, so normally it doesn't happen. Normally it's us contacting the parent with a concern. But
I
if
guess
the
just a
parent did
seminar is
contact,
what I mean.
what's that?
I guess just a seminar or that type of
Oh, training for
thing.
parents.
Yes.
Got it. You know, when we spoke about having Carl come up, I know that the health department, Logan Health and Mariah Healthcare were talking about doing an evening session, but I think they're doing something, but I think it's only with their staff. I don't think it is open to the public, and we don't have anything scheduled for parents at this point.
Doesn't have any curriculum involve parents,
I'll have to ask her.
because you could be your adult education.
It seems like parent awareness would be a humongous component.
I
if
think
we
that's
could
extremely
reach parents
important.
somehow.
Okay. So some sort of
At least offering it.
parental evening training.
Yeah, like a knowing the signs or.
At the minimum, a memo saying, hey,
Mhm.
if you recognize, or if your child's doing X, Y, and Z.
And
Contact us and-
you think maybe our local healthcare providers would be able to offer that type of a,
Yeah.
Or is Roston available for that?
what's that?
Is Mr. Roston available for that sort of thing? Or
I
is
think
our-
he is. I can certainly ask if he'd be willing to do something that evening. So that evening is, that's our open house evening.
It wouldn't have to be at the same time of year or whatever, but
Yeah.
example, that guy that came in last year and did the Department of Justice and he did the thing on sexting and all that,
Huh?
the kids came home from school with their eyes this big and said, you should go to the evening session. So like the fact that the kids got it that day and the parents, was available to the parents that same day, then it was like family discussion, like, okay, everybody just heard the same message. Only like 10 parents came, but it was made available, you know.
Okay.
There was some value to having the same message to the parents and the kids, I thought.
Yeah,
Or more in-depth for the parents than the kids got.
Yeah, I can certainly look into trying to do some sort of a suicide awareness for parents. We are planning on doing a walk.
Mariah's Healthcare
Mariah's
is
Healthcare
interested in
plans to do a
doing
walk.
a walk, and that would be September 10th.
And maybe we can combine it with something like that, some training.
Yeah.
We tend to get a better turnout. We only had 10 people at that. I feel like if there's something else
Yep.
going on, if there's some other thing that's bringing people in, we may be able to get some more people engaged in it.
Free fountain soda, for instance.
Free fountain soda would probably
Well,
work.
I hear what you're saying, getting the word out is the difficult
And maybe not even getting the word, I think a lot of people knew about the ICAC training. I think it was, what's the priority?
Right.
You know, and every parent should have been there, because every parent thinks it's not going to happen to their child. And there's a number of parents that have sat across the table from us, and they say the same thing, well, this was never gonna happen to my kid, and it does. It can happen to any kid.
Your thought of trying to get the crowd there in conjunction with something is probably a good notion.
So maybe that suicide awareness walk that they do, if we can.
Who brought that woman in that? Remember a couple of years ago, she came and spoke, and she did like a skit thing, you got to be a part of it. It was like
Yeah,
the
the
health
health
department.
We wrote that in through the health department.
She was good.
But,
You had to be in this skit, you don't remember being
Don't
her
do that.
dad or something in this skit? You were fantastic.
I'm glad I did a good job of acting.
It was about mental health awareness, but she acted out this whole skit of like her life, but it was, and then audience participation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we can certainly look at those. Okay? So, we can talk about other policies if there's things that you saw in there that you do not like.
I'm just happy as a clown.
Happy as a clam, okay. All right, well, good. I'm glad you're happy as a clam.
Scratch.
My recommendation is still to approve all of these policies as presented.
So moved. Second?
I have a first from Chad and a second from Eric. Any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
I'm going to move on to the next one, but I do want to make one other comment. So MTSBA has also made a change where we used to make these adjustments, and I would send them in, and then they would make the changes. It's not the way that it works anymore. They've now, after we get done, I go in and I make all of the changes to our policy. So this is good and bad. It's bad because it takes a lot of time. It's good because I have to really dive in deep and retype every change that we make in the policy and get those things approved. So I'm becoming more familiar with the policy, which is a good thing, but it is a time-consuming process that we now undertake to update our policy manual that used to be handled by MTSBA. So just a change in process.
Do we still have to pay the same?
Yeah, we still pay the same. Maybe they should start paying me.
Yeah.
If I have to update our own policy, that's not going to happen. Okay, so moving on to policy second reading. So we approved all of these last month. You have this copy still. I am recommending to approve upon second reading board policy 1007 FE, multi-district agreements, board policy 1009 FE, recruitment and retention, board policy 2050, innovative student instruction, board policy 3141, non-resident student enrollment, board policy 3665, student safety, board policy 5123, employer verification of employee, board policy 5252, notice of non-renewal of non-tenured teachers for financial reasons, board policy 8560, display of flags and banners on district property.
So moved.
Second.
A first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I didn't separate out, so you'll just have to go through and look at the ones, but that's next on the agenda, sorry. I forgot that one. All right, attendance and transportation agreements. And we'll just give Roy a second to look through those. first from Eric and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. High school.
So,
I have a first from Sarah and a second from Chad. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, motion by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Okay, moving on to discussion items. Our opening PIR days, we have them, we are in draft form at the moment. The new teacher, it's all in your packet, but your new or first year teacher, we only have 2 teachers that are going to be attending it this year, which is kind of exciting that we have not a lot of new staff members coming on board. But it will be odd to have just 2 people in the room. So it's an interesting day of training. There's going to be more presenters and trainers than there will be trainees. So that'll be interesting. But this is kind of roughly what we do. We do our introductions in the morning. We will get some tours of both facilities. We want to make sure that when we get a new elementary teacher, we also want them to see the junior high school facility. Same thing, vice versa. I'll go through some of our required training so that we don't have to do that the following week. Our mandated reporting, sexual harassment, and FERPA trainings. I will also do that with our new paraprofessional staff or new classified staff on that Tuesday before we get started with the school year. Then we always have Mr. and Mrs. Howe working with the new teachers. We have an opportunity for them getting tech ready, to become proficient at that one. And then Ms. Howe works with them on their Infinite Campus, and that's our system for doing their attendance and grading and items like that. We'll then provide them with lunch. We have Chris Magruder coming down to talk with them about special education and how special education works in north central Montana through our co-op and some of our expectations. And then we'll also have Christy Callery from the GTCC coming down and working with those new teachers and telling them about all of the resources and professional development and support that the GTCC offers. When we get done with that, I will go through district documents, how to fill out a leave sheet, why your paycheck looks like this, what money's coming out, what money's going in, how to sign up for a field trip. So I'll go through all of that type of information. Not that they retain all of it, but then they've at least seen it once before they get into the school year. So it's kind of roughly what we do with our new staff. Any questions on that new teacher training? Okay, so we'll go through that process. The next week on Monday and Tuesday, Monday we have our teacher PIR days. We are bringing in Gordon Hahn. He's a former superintendent to kind of do some motivational and excitement type stuff. I won't be as exciting to start off the day. We'll probably talk about how the financial situation looks. No, I'll try not to do that right after the beginning. We'll do some introductions and maybe a team building type activity in the morning. Gordon will meet with them. Then the principals will have an opportunity to meet with their staff for a couple of hours. We'll do lunch. A lot of times the SEA will provide lunch for SEA members or those interested in being a part of the SEA, Shelby Education Association, that's the union. We do not provide lunch on that first day. And then we've got some breakout sessions in the afternoon so people can choose what they want to do. And we don't have all of those filled out yet, but we've got some ideas. John's going to be doing some Google training. We've got some CPR opportunities. We're going to be doing some SPED training for special education teachers. I'm going to be doing some insurance information. People are interested in HSAs or talking about insurance and how the deductible systems work. So there'll be some different opportunities. We'll also have a mentor-mentee meeting time as well. So we'll continue to work on that. We'll get finished up and then we'll have some evening activities for the staff. Following day, we always do breakfast in our cafeteria. Staff puts together breakfast for the entire staff, so that's all 90 employees have the opportunity to come down and do that. I'll meet with everybody in the morning. We'll do some handbook distribution and just kind of the state of the school, where we're looking to go for the school year. We have American Fidelity. They're going to come down and just do 10 minutes with information on benefit opportunities for staff. We are going to introduce our E3 training, and this is that new system for security. If there is a lockdown situation, every teacher's gonna have the opportunity to say, we need support now, and notifies law enforcement. This system has been implemented in Cascade County. Our local law enforcement is paid for it, and so we're gonna start our training and learning about that program. Then we have suicide prevention, as we talked about. Always call it our staff retreat. We do a team building activity. I'm trying to work with MSU Extension. I started this earlier in the summer. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. If they're not, I'll come up with some sort of a team building activity. I think the staff appreciates it when somebody from the outside world comes in and does that rather than me, but sometimes you have to deal with it. So we'll see how that goes. We will provide lunch that day. Talked to Tony a little bit about it, but have some conversation with Kyle. We'll figure out how we're gonna do that, but we'll provide lunch for the staff on that day. In the afternoon, Gary Havlickel, our insurance agent, will be coming down for anybody that would like to get additional insurance information. I'll also be attending that. I will then go through the mandated reporting, FERPA, and sexual harassment, again with all of our new staff that are not teachers, so all of our classified staff that are new. Be some mentor-mentee meetings, paraprofessional meetings with Tony and Kyle, and then we have opportunities for our staff to work on their classrooms all that afternoon. So essentially from noon, when we provide lunch until 4 o'clock, they are welcome to just work on their classrooms and get ready for the year to come. 5 o'clock, open house starts, and we'll hopefully have a lot of people coming down and seeing the classrooms, meeting their teachers. We'll also have the community coming down to do the community fair activities that are available. So all of the
Yeah, like the
activities,
sign-up sheets.
sign-up sheets, any activity that's available within our community, a lot of those groups are going to come down and they'll have a table and just sharing information with the community about those opportunities that are available within the Shelby community. Really good event.
Shane has contacted everybody as much as he can. You can have a table
Yep.
to sign up.
Yep. Baseball will be there, golf course will be there, swimming, civic center, health departments, youth dynamics. I'm leaving out tons of stuff. Law enforcement, Bell.
Who do you talk to if you want to have a booth? Shane.
I'll give you his number.
From the
Chamber
chamber.
of Commerce.
Yeah, chamber. Yep. Singing, strings and things should do it.
Any questions about our opening PRR days or anything that you think we're missing that we need to include in this? All our stuff?
For the record, I like when you do our team building.
Thank you.
For the record, I hate every moment.
I know, I love it, I'm
Just so you- I mean,
I'm the minority. But he does a good job.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but I hate it. And see, as a teacher, you're thinking, this is what I need to do in my classroom, this is what I need to do to get ready. And it's fun to do, but you're thinking, I'm wasted 45 minutes where I could be in my room working. I mean, it's good, though. I mean, I see both sides of it, but.
I have whittled it down. When I first started in Shelby, the team building was about 3 to 3.5 hours all morning long on that first day. I thought it was a great opportunity. I whittled it down to about an hour.
And board members were encouraged to attend
Board
that.
members were encouraged.
I have gone to
It was an opportunity to
I
bring everybody together, but
They're fun.
I saw a
curtailed
cartoon.
my,
I saw a cartoon of this team building exercise and it's trust fall. So they're all supposed to catch the boss when he falls backwards, and they just let him drop.
and then they didn't have to do the team building?
And the presenter says, "I don't think trust is your biggest problem here."
Okay, all right, well, so that's our schedule for our opening PIRs. Board walkthrough. Angela's the only one that really responded. Kind of looking at September 24th or October 1st, does anybody have
Okay, so
a?
you
Okay.
You said either. Roy said October 1st looked a little bit better.
Okay.
Eric?
I'm good.
Either day?
Because I'm leaving, I'm going on our trips in early September,
Okay.
so.
So either day works for you?
Either's for me.
Chad? Do you have a preference?
October 1st is, all 4 Wednesdays.
Yeah.
What time are we talking about?
Well, it would be during during the day, we would do the walkthrough and then we would do training.
Is it
We do
full
lunch.
day, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all day, lunch is provided. Yeah,
Either way, it doesn't.
it'd be like 8 to 4 probably. Ish.
Probably have to actually leave to go to other town.
Okay.
Good either way.
Okay, I am gonna talk to, Tony, thank you, for October 1st is what we'll lean towards. And then if you guys have any ideas of training or things that you want him to go over, let me know and I can let him know so he can be prepared. And then we'll have everything that we need that day.
Okay, hiring update and open positions. I'm gonna knock on wood here. We're looking probably better than we've looked in 10 years. You know, we've got one open position right now, which is a cafeteria position, which we need to get filled. We've got a couple of different ideas on how to get that filled already. You know, we could need an additional para or two, but we've got some feelers out there for those particular roles, and so I'm feeling pretty good as far as staffing is concerned.
Question. What was decided about the personnel role? Payroll clerk?
Payroll clerk is continuing on with Angel at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Correspondence. We do have some litigation strategy to discuss in regards to current lawsuit the school district is going through. That is a closed session item whenever we're talking about litigation strategy. So my recommendation would be to close the meeting, to go through that. I know that the only other thing on here is to announce when the next board meeting is, so people are welcome to stick around and hear that, or leave it that way. But my recommendation is to close the meeting for litigation strategy under correspondence.
Okay, we will take a 5-minute break and close the meeting. We will open to just adjourn the meeting.
So are we carving it?
Yes, it did. With all of the little signatures on it?
All day.
Exactly. Wait for years.
Ellie,